Deep in the rugged hills of Arkansas, where Lee Creek winds like a secret through the forest, something ancient still walks beneath the pines. For generations, locals have whispered about the hairy man, the forest people who watch from the shadows. Donna's family didn't just believe the stories, they lived them. Tonight, Donna returns to the very place where her world changed, where her dog went wild, where a foul stench filled the air, and an 8 to 9 foot giant stepped out of the trees, a beast with no neck, massive shoulders, and a roar that shook her soul. This is Sasquatch Theory, and this is Donna's encounter at Lee Creek in Arkansas. If you guys enjoy Sasquatch Theory, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to comment down below. With all that being said, let's dive straight into Donna's Bigfoot encounter from the state of Arkansas. Donna, welcome to Sasquatch Theory. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Miguel. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm glad we finally get to talk about your experiences. Donna, if you would, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your Bigfoot encounters from the very beginning, please.
Well, I'm from Texas. Right now I'm living in Virginia, but my experiences happened in northeast Arkansas up in the Ozark Mountains.
So what was the first experience that you had? And if you would, put me in your shoes and try to describe everything with as much detail as possible, please.
It was in 1986, and it was around Wheeler and Tawnytown, Arkansas. And it was a time when I was engaged to my first husband. We were fixing to get married, and we had went to Arkansas so that I could meet a bigger part of his family. We were at his grandmother's, which she lived on a dead-end road at the top of a mountain, and we had went down the mountain to Lee Creek, and it was right by a little church. And we just pulled up in the parking lot there, and we had a 72 Dodge van, and it had 2 moonroofs in the top of it. And we also had our white lab with us, Labrador. And he was a very, very well-trained dog, very good dog. And when we pulled up there at Lee Creek, we rolled our windows down a little bit. I remember it being cool. It wasn't cold, but it was cool. And as soon as we rolled the windows down, our dog started going absolutely crazy. He was biting at the top of the van at the moonroofs. And right after the smell and right after he started going crazy, we heard the most chilling sound that I can ever remember hearing in my life. And it was a cross between a whoop and a howl. And the creek was only about maybe 20 or 30 foot wide, and he was almost directly across from us. We saw him walking through the woods and kind of at an angle towards us. So we got out of there as quick as possible. And on the way back up the mountain to his grandmother's, he was telling me that they're everywhere around there. And I do remember asking him, well, you know, Grandma's house isn't but about a mile from here. Is he going to follow us? And he said, I don't know. He could. And so that was pretty intense and pretty chilling for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And the dog going crazy after the smell is an indicator that something's around. What did it smell like?
It was horrible. And it was just absolutely nasty. Just a horrible smell.
Was it more like feces or garbage? Or like
All of
sulfur?
it.
Yeah.
It was all of it. It was
Wow.
like, yeah, it was bad. It was a really, really bad smell.
So a very overwhelming, overpowering smell. The dog was
Yes.
going nuts, and then you heard this whoop/howl vocalization. Was it like a roar, or can you describe it? Like, can you compare it to anything?
It was kind of like a roar. Yeah, it
Wow.
was.
Yeah, and you
And
were
it was very, very, very loud.
okay. So,
But we were very close, so
mhm. Oh, it was like really close to you guys. Then you didn't hear it like way off in the distance. This thing was like right in the wood line.
yes, absolutely. It was probably maybe 5 or 10 feet into the woods,
Yeah, and it
just on the other side of the creek. So yes, it was pretty close.
wow. Yeah, it seems like this thing was being territorial. It was intimidating you guys. And a lot of people speculate that possibly they produce this odor when they get nervous or angry. And that's kind of what it sounds like by what you described. How did this creature look like? And was it during the daytime or nighttime?
It was at night, but it was like at dusk. It wasn't like the sun wasn't up. The sun was already going down. And but we could see, you know, right there at the wood line where he was, and he was huge. He was absolutely huge.
Can you describe some of the features about how big do you think this creature was? How tall and how much do you think it weighed?
He had to be 8 or 9 foot, and he had pretty long hair from what we could tell all over his body. We couldn't really see his face, but no neck, really, really big, broad shoulders, very, very big, bigger than a linebacker.
Yeah, that sounds phrasing, and it brings a whole new meaning to the phrase things that go bump in the night. It's a common
Yeah,
expression referring to supernatural or frightening beings believed to be the
right.
source of unexplained noises heard at night.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it sounds like this creature was following the waterways. Is this like a spring fed creek or was it dry? What time of year was this?
Um, I'm thinking it was probably around March or April. And up there in the mountains, it's still cool during those times. So
Yeah, that
it
makes
was,
sense.
yeah.
Makes me wonder if they
And
migrate because I get a lot of reports close to like the city areas in Missouri and in the wintertime they kind of disappear and I've had experiences in the Mark Twain National Forest during like the winter time in February. So that was kind of my theory that these things go into populated areas during the summertime, but then in the winter they're down there in the Ozarks by Arkansas and then they start coming out moving around once like the leaves start growing on the trees like in March.
right, right.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it
it
makes
was,
sense because he said that these things are all over the place down there. And I believe it. David Paulides talks
yes.
about Arkansas being the absolute hot spot for missing people in North America.
Yeah, yeah. I have heard that a lot of people do go missing in Arkansas, especially up in the mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. It had to be a chilling feeling when you heard that vocalization and you saw the creature. What were your thoughts in that moment? Like, what went through your mind?
Uh, let's get out of here. Let's go. It was like there was no fight. It was all total flight.
Hmm. Yeah, you didn't get the impression that this thing was wanting to leave you flowers.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah, that's what I try telling
Yeah,
people. It's like, man, when you run into these things, it's a chilling, dark feeling.
yeah, very much so. Very much so. He was he wasn't happy, I don't think.
Yeah. And when the creature was moving, could you hear noises or was it dead silent?
He didn't make a lot of noise. No, we didn't hear, he didn't even We didn't hear a tree crash or anything like that, but we could see him walking, and he was moving pretty fast. But I think we were moving faster at the time to get out of there. As soon as we saw him, it was time to go.
Yeah. And this was by a church, is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that makes you
Yeah, we
wonder.
were in the church parking lot. And the creek, Lee Creek, um, it starts somewhere in Arkansas, I believe. And on our way back home to Texas, we followed Lee Creek almost all the way. So it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying. It really was.
Yeah. I wonder if this creature was looking for food, or maybe it had a little one around. Like, it didn't want you guys in the area.
No, it did not. It didn't. And actually, when we got back up there to Grandma's, that's when I found out that we weren't staying in Grandma's house. Grandma had a large, um, I would call it a shop, um, close to the house, within walking distance. And it was like fully furnished. There was a bed and a TV. It was like another room, but it was actually her sewing room because her and Mom did quilts. They did quilting. And that was where we spent the night. And I was really, really terrified most of the night because I didn't know if it had followed us back up there or not. But the rest of the night was quiet. We didn't hear nothing else. Nothing bothered us while we stayed out there. And the next morning, when we got up and got dressed and went into the house, um, Mom had asked me to cook breakfast for my soon to be father in law. And as I was cooking and talking to Mom and Grandma, they were telling me stories because I had told them what happened the night before. And so they started telling me their stories.
What did they tell you?
Um, Mom and Dad had a turkey farm. And to keep the Sabe away from all the kids and the house and everything, Mom used to feed them. And she would feed them turkeys that had already died. And that was, she did that so that they wouldn't go in and be killing all the turkeys, all the profit. So apparently that worked. She left them gifts and they took those instead of going in and killing all the live turkeys. So they knew that they were there. They knew all about them.
Yeah. They
And
had to have seen them or heard them in the past.
absolutely, absolutely. And Grandma said that when they had holidays there at Grandma's house, there was an old Volkswagen that was out back. And the kids used to go out there and play in it. And even during, the summertime and when it was warm enough outside, the kids would actually go out there and sleep in it. And apparently one night during a Thanksgiving time, I think she said, the kids were out there sleeping. And Asabe actually came up and lifted the back of the Volkswagen and then just banged it right back down on the ground. And all the kids woke up screaming, hollering, and ran to the house. And they say it was a big one, a really big one. And it kind of makes me wonder if it wasn't the same one, maybe, that we had seen, because he was really, really big.
Yeah, it could be
So,
possible. And I definitely understand your fear of this thing possibly following you back home, especially since there's already been experiences there.
right, exactly. Exactly. But Grandma said they're everywhere. They're all around up there. And it's just uh, the whole process, all of it was just terrifying.
Yeah. And what do the old timers call them?
Um, I think she called them the forest people.
Yeah. I've heard that term used in Arkansas.
Yeah. And hairy man. I've heard that expression too.
Okay. So what else happened after this, Donna?
The other experience that I was told about was my brother-in-law back when they were young. Um, he actually had a gun. He was out in the woods and he shot at one. And he ran back home, told his mom and dad, but then some of the um, FBI showed up and told him never to do it again, that if he was ever heard of shooting one again, that he would go to jail. And so that's another thing that just, I don't know, affirms the fact that they're protected to me. Like, the government does know about them, but they just don't want to admit it. Or, why would the FBI be coming out and telling them that? So I don't know. That just kind of affirms things for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So he shot one of these creatures?
Yeah, he was probably about maybe 13 years old at the time. Yeah, he was really young.
Did he happen to kill it or did it get away?
No, no, I think he only had maybe a 22 or something, and I don't think that it really hurt it. But from what I understand, that's exactly what happened. Was he did shoot it, and he did get a tongue lashing from the FBI.
Yeah. And how did they find out about it?
I don't know. I don't know if it was the neighbors that called or because it was like a big commotion when he came back to the house. So I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, interesting nonetheless. And
Yeah.
I don't think a 22 would do much to it. It's like shooting it with a BB
Uh-uh.
gun.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So what else happened?
That's that's about all of my experiences and the stories that I was told.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for sharing that. Did you ever run into them when you moved out of the state?
Mm, no, the only time that I ever experienced anything was in the Ozarks, and that was it.
Yeah. What about paranormal experiences? Have you ever seen anything in that realm?
Um, the only time that I have ever had any what I would call paranormal experience um, was when I was very young, and this was in Texas. It was in Grand Prairie, and I had at the time It was called a talking baby Tenderlove, and it was a doll. And I had got it for Christmas. I probably had it for, I don't know, I got it for a Christmas when I was young, and then it was probably the next summer, the next spring. Me and a friend of mine, we were pretty rowdy girls, and we were making prank phone calls, and we were using that doll. And my parents weren't home at the time. They had went with some other people and played dominoes. It was a very stormy night. And when we got done playing with that doll, my friend she just threw it into my closet. And when she threw it in my closet, it landed face down. And after a few more minutes, it was a really big, a lot of thunder and a lot of lightning. And just, it was a really, really bad storm. But we were used to things because we're from Texas. So, the storms don't bother us that bad. But when we looked over in the closet, that doll had turned over onto her back and it was smiling. And she picked it up and we were going to throw it outside. And then when we opened the front door, my mom pulled up. And she told us, no, don't throw it out there. Just throw it back in your closet. And so we did. And the next day, my mom was wanting me to tell her about it and everything. And she said, go get that doll. And I went to go get it, and the doll was gone. Completely gone. We've never seen it since.
Yeah, that's terrifying, and I've heard similar experiences. That's scary. I mean, I can't imagine. Dolls always freak me out, and
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to have a lot of dolls, and now I will not let one in my house. Period.
Mm-hmm.
There's no dolls allowed in my house.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you.
No, absolutely not.
One of my old friends told me about a story like that, and he said the doll was sitting like in the corner of the room, and he was sleeping on the couch, and he woke up for a brief moment, and he looked, and it was like right in his face. The doll was.
Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's just terrifying. No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm. Okay. Well, Donna, you did an excellent job at describing your experiences, and I really do appreciate you for getting in contact with me and taking the time to share all of this with everyone. And yeah, these things are definitely out there in the Ozarks, and I certainly believe you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to get my story out there. I have told a few people, but a lot of people don't want to listen. They don't want to believe you. They think you're just making things up. And I appreciate you giving me a chance to tell it and believe me.
Absolutely. And I know this experience left a huge impact on your life, and I know a deer or a squirrel wouldn't do that. So it's something that you'll carry forever, and you just have to choose who to tell when you do. And some people aren't going to believe you, and others will.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think I've come to the point in my life now to where I don't care. I don't care if you believe me or not. I know what happened. I know what happened. So that's just how I feel about it now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at in life, and I just don't care what people think, because these things are really out there and people need to know about it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me before we end the call?
No. I think you've done a great job.
No, I appreciate that.
You're very good at doing the interviews.
Thank you. That really means a lot, and I hope I can continue doing this for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Donna. Well, I'm going to let you go for now. If you experience anything else in the future, feel free to reach out to me, okay?
Okay, Miguel. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, too, and you have yourself an excellent day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
The legends of Lee Creek continue today. Are the forest people still watching from those Arkansas hills? Donna's story is a reminder that sometimes the old tales aren't tales at all, and they are a reality. The legends of Lee Creek continue. Are the forest people still watching from those Arkansas hills? Donna's story is a reminder that sometimes the old tales aren't tales at all, and they are a reality. Donna said they pulled up to this old church and she could smell something horrible. It smelled like dead animal, like death. And then she heard this vocalization that shook her soul, and the creature took off. They often take off following the waterways, and it was definitely a terrifying encounter. I've taken many reports where people encounter a cryptid creature either by a cemetery or a church. I don't know if that's coincidence or something supernatural, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. I interviewed a lady a while back. Her name was Pam, and she described these same features on the Sasquatch that she encountered outside of her house. She said it had really long hair, it was covering its face, and she said that it was truly terrifying. I wonder if this is the same creature that Donna encountered. If you have a Bigfoot encounter that you would like to share with me here on Sasquatch Theory, feel free to reach out sometime at sasquatchtheory@outlook.com. I really appreciate everyone for watching and for your support. Thank you, and you guys be safe out in the forest.